What were the Hornets' strengths last year? We'll go through actually some of the stuff that the Hornets were good at, plus answer plenty of questions in the Sicko Satchel. And Doug finally gets to his Happy Gilmore 2 review. Well, his thoughts on Frank Kaminsky's
there we go.
Happy Gilmore 2
Local angle.
review. It's silly season, folks. Stick with us. That's all to come today. Locked On Hornets.
You are Locked On Hornets, your daily Charlotte Hornets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
It's Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen. We are free and available anywhere you get your podcast, and that includes YouTube. Doug Branson, everyhornetsboxscore.com. Also a part of Locked On NBA with Matt Moore and Hayes. They're talking all things NBA there, keeping you up to date on all the national storylines. I'm Walker Mail. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3. I am keeping you up to date on everything Panthers training camp wise. Wow. All the updates. Vibes are good in the Queen City, not only for the Hornets, but they're good for the Panthers too. I'm a little scared about how good things feel right now. But yeah, maybe a sleeper pick for Carolina. You can listen to us talk about it. WFNZ 92.7 FM. Speaking of all the vibes that we have going on right now, let's talk about all the vibes surrounding the Hornets and maybe something that will transition from last year into this year and stuff that we want to transition into this year. The things that the Hornets were good at, Doug. I know you were sleuthing, you were researching some of those stats on Basketball Index. What did you find that the Hornets performed well in?
Yeah, so I'm going to try to get this up where I can actually screen share where it shows up big enough. But this is from bballindex.com. Okay, I think I have it here. All right, so this is from bballindex.com. And this is in the 2024-25 season. These are the top 10 things that the Hornets were highest rated in relative to other teams. This is just teams, not players. Teams in the NBA, and the things that they were lowest rated in among teams in the NBA. And I will note that, so they have a stat called LeBron, and it measures, it's one of these all-in-one stats that tries to measure how well you did on offense, how well you did on defense. The LeBron for the Hornets last season was probably, it's minus 5.77, which I'm going to say, if it's not last in the league, it's very close to last in the league. But their defensive LeBron was actually minus 1.22, which I think probably puts them in the kind of 15 to 20 range. Like it's going to be towards, it's definitely below average, but it's not as bad because and especially I think at the end of the season, they really shored up the defense after, they had no choice because so many of their offensive players were off the floor. So let me give you a few of the highest rated, and then I'll get your thoughts on it, Walker.
Yeah.
So let me know if you notice a trend here. Floater shot creation, they were in the 100th percentile. Deep three-point shot creation, they were the second-ranked team in the 96.6 percentile. Mid-range shot creation, floater shooting talent, half-court shot creation, three-point shot creation, pull-up three-point shot creation, and then rim deterrence is thrown in there, but that's not part of the theme here. What do you think is the theme that I'm getting at here?
The theme, I think the theme you're getting at, which this was supposed to be, I think, based on the bullet point, a positive segment. These are all the things the Hornets did well, but I can't help but look at creation, and I don't see enough talent. So
or points per possession. The thing there's creation and then there's execution, right? So that's definitely that's definitely a theme. The other theme is LaMelo Ball. Right, floater shot creation, deep three-point shot creation. Those are the two themes to take away,
100%.
Yes. So LaMelo,
yeah, it's LaMelo, and then it's creation, not a lot of execution. Like it's fun. Well, it's not even like it was hard. Here, I'm a rocket scientist. I figured this out. I think everybody would look at this list and not be surprised at all that there were a lot of floaters last year. There were a lot of deep threes last year. There were the mid-shot creation. Now, maybe people would be a little surprised about mid-range shot creation, because we tried to fight back against that narrative, but it's the whole, You took it out of Brandon Miller's arsenal. He never takes mid-range jumpers anymore. I think people might be surprised about that. But for the most part, I think people would look at this list and say, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, I would say unless you are a team with a lot of mid-range shot makers, you don't want to be mid-range shot takers. So that this creation stat, I think actually is a function of the fact that they didn't have a ton of shooters and they weren't very effective at the rim. And so they were just getting forced down in the mid-range. Like, you knew as a defense, if you could get them to take mid-range shots, you were going to beat the Hornets by 100.
And again, I'm not saying it's a good thing. I think people would be surprised at just how many mid-range jumpers and it's not, I guess, the total volume. I guess it is different in terms of like mid-range shot creation. I guess I don't know like the disparity between creation and how many mid-range jumpers they pulled up for. So I guess I don't know the specific difference, right? Is there something different in being wide open, having the ball swing to you at a mid-range point, which is kind of weird, I guess, to think about. But anyways, there might be some nuances there in the definition between the two. But yeah, the definite themes here developing, and I had the same takeaways you did.
And top 10 in rim deterrence, I think that was a lot of scheme that they wanted to take away the rim. And so you saw a little bit more switching. You saw a little bit more drop too. And then I think, look, Mark Williams had a lot of issues with his game, but he was a big dude and he chased guards out of the paint. And that was his thing. That's something they've got to figure out this coming season.
No, that was his thing. And that matters, right? Rim deterrence from Mark. That was always something that he was good at. When people tried him and they were successful, then they might have attacked him a little bit more so. When you throw it to these guys in the post and they realize they can play through Mark Williams, then they would attack him a little more. But just in terms of guards getting into the paint, seeing if they have an opportunity to put a shot up, they might get a tiny bit spooked. Now, it's not like Mark Williams was great at it. They were 10th, but I think Mark Williams had a lot to do with it. I don't think Nurkic is the big-time rim deterrer that Mark was. But yeah, that was one of the strengths for him defensively. A lot of weaknesses. I think that was a strength of his.
So let's go to the lowest ratings. I'll just read these off. They were last in the league in handoff points per possession. So points per possession is how efficient you are at creating points with a particular kind of play, right? So handoff, PPP, they were last in the league. Overall shot quality, they were last in the league. Here's where the sort of execution versus creation is how many times you do it. Quality is when you did it, how many of those looks were good looks, and then your actual points per possession is how well you did on those quality looks.
And that's a big one. I would say if you had a draft, okay, most important stats, most important things that we're looking at here, I would say overall shot quality is a big deal in terms of how it plays out in wins and losses.
Kind of, but when you have a player like LaMelo Ball, that's where, and I would say not just LaMelo Ball, there are star types in the league where they are going to create bad quality shots, but they hit them. And the fact that they're bad quality shots is exactly, and the fact that they can hit them is what makes them a star level player. Like star level players take bad shots and make them. So that's a function of LaMelo.
Yeah, no, that's true. Even with the LaMelo theme, he did play not even 50, or he played 50 games? Like, so, there's a lot of basketball without LaMelo. What's the shot quality look like without LaMelo on the floor? But you're right. Like LaMelo, and I would say his struggles post All-Star break, that was tough. LaMelo wasn't hitting a lot of those, but you're right.
Here's the two hammers, and this is why they're offensive LeBron stats, and they're off. I mean, you could just pull up any kind of offensive stat you want, and the Hornets are going to be near the bottom of the league last season because their pick and roll ball handler points per possession, last in the league. Transition points per possession, last in the league. Transition is something that every team is seeking out because you have an advantage over the defense. The defense is not set. You are going to get more points out of transition than almost any other function of the game except for free throws. And so the fact that they were dead last in the league in points per possession on transition and pick and roll ball handler is the thing that is the most run thing of anything that anybody runs in the half court. So the fact that they were dead last in that is like, wow. I mean, there was serious things wrong with this offense beyond, I think beyond LaMelo being hurt, there were bad things in this offense. And that's why I think they went out and sought Colin Sexton, Pat Connaughton, drafted Con Knipple. I mean, shooters, offensive creators all over the floor because they looked at the numbers and went, good God, we can't create decent shots.
Yeah, LaMelo should give you something better than dead last in the league in transition points per possession. But LaMelo being on your team, it just feels like that should make you one of the more effective transition teams, except, Josh Green too. Going back to Josh Green, I know we went to him last episode, but that was something that he was supposed to help in. And it's just, when LaMelo goes down, your transition offense, it goes in the tank. You didn't have Trey to run the floor. You didn't have LaMelo to run the floor. And so now, okay, who's going to handle the basketball? Man, we're doing a lot of Miles Bridges, help us out, bail us out type of stuff. And that's and shoot a bunch of threes around.
Last thing for me, transition in my mind is so much about rhythm and understanding where people are going to be and almost having like a sixth sense for I know what this player is going to do because I've played with this player a lot, because we have a lot of reps. The Hornets don't have that because of injuries. That's, oftentimes when they're running breaks, it's like the first, oh, that guy. Oh, yeah, that guy plays for me now. Oh, yeah, okay. So there's just so much unfamiliarity. And the only way you fix that is by staying healthy.
And providing some stability, which we're not going to have. This is going to be a new group, a lot of turnover within this roster and guys who are going to play. So they got to figure out that chemistry quickly going into the season. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Whew, a lot of ball talk.
He's everywhere!
Yeah, baby, that was a basketball sandwich. Let's give you some Sicko Satchel questions on the other side, and then eventually we'll get to the Happy Gilmore 2 review. Some spoilers in there. If you haven't seen it, like me, you have a choice, unlike me, to dodge it. So Happy Gilmore 2 review from Frank Kaminsky. That's our Hornets angle. That's all still to come. LOH. Before we get to the review and the Sicko Satchel questions, I want to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Doug, do you ever wish that managing your money felt easier?
Yes!
Good. With Monarch Money, it can be easier. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center that you can track with all your accounts, investments, and spending. You can track all of that in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. More Locked On Hornets ahead. Okay, Sicko Satchel time. Silly season, Sicko Satchel time, baby. It is here. What kind of questions do you got for the people, Doug?
Hallie of the 12th Dwight Howard Division asks this. By the way, join subtext.com /at locked on, or no, / Locked On Hornets, no at. Join subtext.com / Locked On Hornets if you want to join the Sicko Brigade and enter your question into the Sicko Satchel. All right, Hallie asked this. Curious after a recent episode if Michael Jordan's stint as majority owner affected his GOAT status for you or how you feel about him as a player in general. Is he your GOAT?
I like this question because I'm surprised at how many people ask it. It's a thing that doesn't necessarily register with me, but it clearly registers with a lot of other people in that, hey, this run as majority owner of the Hornets and how terrible it was, that does affect his status as the GOAT with some of the people that check into that sort of thing. It does not for me. I completely separate the two. I don't think we discuss. I know that you're in a different stratosphere with this sort of thing, but there have been players that have gone into a front office role before, and I don't know if we take a look back and say, you know what, that guy was actually trash, or you know what, that guy was actually pretty good. It's completely different. And I think what a common theme seems to be is a great player's inability to accurately evaluate talent. That seems to be a thing. And, there are a couple of different reasons for that. One theory is the Shaq theory. Why doesn't this guy just dunk on everybody? Right. He's trash. Well, because nobody in the world has ever been built like you before. and you don't see it. So there's the Shaq theory. There's I think galaxy brain theory. Oh, Michael is this super basketball brain. He knows what it takes to be a real basketball player in this league. You guys don't see it, but Cody Zeller, about to be a monster issue. Frank Kaminsky, yeah, that guy wins basketball games. So a couple of different theories as to how that affects him. It does not affect who I think the GOAT is. Who is my GOAT? It's Michael. I think Michael's the best basketball player of all time. We're barely. We got it in July, Doug. We got a who's better, LeBron or MJ debate question in right at the buzzer here with July. But Michael's still mine, and it's not affected by what he did here with the Hornets, even if he brought me a lot of pain.
Yeah, to your point, it almost strengthens his case. I think it strengthens LeBron's case, too. I mean, there are a lot of LeGM jokes about his inability, and Kevin Durant is this way, too. And I know he's not in the GOAT discussion, but he's certainly in the wherever he is.
Yeah.
I mean,
obviously,
could he enter the top 10? I don't know, probably not. Maybe top 20, whatever. But he's the same way. Like, he brings these players into his orbit. He forces franchises, and then it doesn't work because these players, they're so good at what they do. They have a tough time evaluating the rest of the talent. So I actually think that it strengthens his case. I will say that had Michael Jordan come in and been a terrible basketball owner and also been a terrible steward of the franchise and a bad just person that is involved in the city, okay, I don't know if I could separate myself art from artist in that respect. If he was George Shinn level bad as both an owner and a human being, then I can't say for sure that it would not have affected. But he was not that. Michael Jordan invested in the city a lot. He didn't invest in the team in the way that fans wanted to, but he was, in terms of his philanthropy, in terms of the stances that he took with the bathroom bill, like a lot of the stuff that he did around the city, I think was positive. It's just the team was not positive. So that's my take.
Yeah. Michael's change in personality and what his personality was during his tenure as majority owner here in Charlotte, it really is one of my favorite things to talk about and go back and forth with people on in podcasting, on air, doing a radio show. I find that fascinating. And you're right, because this is the guy that said Republicans buy sneakers too. This is the guy
seems mythical, but maybe.
No, well, he said it. In the Last Dance doc, I
don't anything around Michael Jordan, even if he says it, I don't believe it anymore, because I think myth has mixed with reality in a way where I'm not sure of anything anymore.
Well, yeah, MJ said he said it. It was just that he was joking, right? That was his thing in Last Dance. But like, this is the guy, he also addressed this, but that wouldn't publicly endorse Harvey Gantt during his run against Jesse Helms. Jesse Helms, notorious racist. Like, now he is taking a stance against that sort of thing and providing powerful statements. Anyways, like I love talking about this change. Like what's happening here with MJ? Why did it happen? But anyways, yeah, I get your point, and he's still my GOAT basketball-wise.
Still my GOAT too. But LeBron, I'll tell you, Michael's been my GOAT. I've been pretty solid in that. Like, God, I mean, every time LeBron posts 40, breaks some kind of record, or gets into an All-NBA discussion, you cannot be an honest evaluator and reckon with that and not say it hasn't shaken some of the MJ GOAT foundation.
No doubt. If anybody wants to say LeBron, I can't. I know I'm supposed to have these strong takes on the biggest radio questions in the game. I don't. It's Michael is mine, but like, if you want to say LeBron, that's like, I get it, and that's not what my job entails. I'm supposed to have this staunch stance.
That's it. That's how it's evolved for me too. It used to be you would say LeBron, after he won the Cleveland championship, right? What did that made it 4, right?
Yeah.
And you would say
Lakers was 4. I'm sorry, Lakers was 4.
Okay. Even after the Lakers championship, right? You say, okay, he's the GOAT. I would fight you. I would say, that's ridiculous, and here's 9 reasons why. Actually, here's 6 reasons why, and they're all championship rings, right?
That's the only argument I need, Sean.
I would fight you. every time LeBron goes out there at 40 plus years old and gets into an all NBA discussion. I mean, I just can't believe that. I know he's only done it once because he just turned 40, but like that has shaken me to the point where I'm like, yes, if you think LeBron is your GOAT, I'm not going to argue with you. I refuse to argue with you. I think Michael Jordan still is, but I refuse to argue it. Now it's become a fully generational and not a rational conversation anymore.
Okay. Any other Sicko Satchel questions, or do we want to keep it moving?
Let's get to one more because I really want to give some breathing room to my Happy Gilmore takes. Anita of the 24th Plumlee Division asked this. I need a Summer League Championship t-shirt and a Con Summer League MVP bobblehead with the headband and stitches. Anita wasn't really asking a question here. She was demanding something that a lot of people have been demanding. That's t-shirts. I still can't find them. I don't know if you have. You're on the ground in Charlotte. I don't know if you have any more information. I love the idea of a Con Summer League MVP bobblehead with the headband and the stitches. I love that idea too. Get to work, Hornets. What are we doing?
So Hornets Fan Shop did tweet out that they were going mobile, and this was July 25th, and they mentioned it going mobile July 25th and 26th, and I still haven't seen any of the t-shirts out there. They just said, hey, check out the mobile fan shop. It's going to be at South Park Mall the 25th. It's going to be at Sonny's Market, located at the Kannapolis Cannonballers Ballpark,
mobile
July 26th.
Fan shop.
They had oh god, oh no. I didn't see any of the shirts.
Hey, Charlotte Hornets, there's a thing called the internet. We made it about 3 or 4 decades ago. It was a whole government operation. DARPA looked into it. Al Gore says he invented it. It's the internet. You can communicate anywhere. In fact, you can sell things on it now. It's a recent thing. You can sell things on it, and they can use their credit card, digitally enter the information, and buy stuff from you. It's crazy.
That's the convenient truth, is the internet exists.
The inconvenient truth is I still don't have a Summer League Championship shirt. It is July 30th.
It's a very inconvenient truth for everybody that still wants their shirt. They want the league issued shirt. Everybody's making their own version, which is very cool. Like I like that it's unique, but there's something with the NBA logo on it as to making that more significant. And people want the NBA logo, league issued Summer League Championship shirt, and we just can't get it. The Hornets say they're trying to get them in the store. That way, I'm actually surprised they haven't gotten them in at this point. But yeah, I want it as well.
One time in high school, I wore a Chris Winkie jersey to school every day until they won a game, and they didn't win a game for a long time. And so I'm gonna lob a similar protest here very soon. If I don't, I'm threatening the Hornets now. If I don't get a Summer League t-shirt soon, I'm going to start doing this show shirtless. If you care about your fan base at all, a lot of your fan base watches this show. They don't want to see that. I promise you, they don't want to see that. So
you care about me.
If you care about Walker Mail, you're going to get these t-shirts online where I can purchase it, or I'm going to start showing some nip.
All right. A little Branson booby is what we're about to get in our life. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Bees everywhere!
We get to Doug's Happy Gilmore 2 thoughts on Frank Kaminsky's review. Really, I think it's probably just Doug's review, and he's using Frank Kaminsky as the conduit to give us the take. That comes up next. Locked On Hornets. Real quickly, I know you've been waiting for the Gilmore 2 review, but I did want to tell you my favorite NBA bobblehead story. I went to Al Harrington basketball camp. Yes, I went to Al Harrington basketball camp.
Big Al Harrington, yes.
There was not any Big Al paint marketing campaign. I did get to see Jermaine O'Neal. He was there. That was cool. They brought him in, but I won like a free throw contest, and because I won a free throw contest, I got an Al Harrington bobblehead. Wow. And he was signing autographs at the end, and I was like, "What do I don't have anything. I don't the camp t-shirt. I don't. And it's wildly and I keep everything. Like you can see if I were to turn the camera over here to this display section over here, I have an Al Harrington top of like the Russian nesting doll like we have with LaMelo. Yeah, there you go. So over here, right, you got your basketball cards, you got some Panther stuff. There's another row on the other side. I don't want to tilt the camera because it's going to put it out of focus and whatever. But anyways, I don't have it anymore, but I got it. I got his bald head signed, and it was the best thing I owned. My brother took it along with my NBA Al Harrington signed hat, and God only knows what happened to it. So the Con Knipple bobblehead point that she brings up, yeah, if they need, we got Frank Kaminsky in a stormtrooper costume. We have Dwayne Bacon in a bacon costume, okay? We can get the Con Knipple bobblehead with the tight head wrap, the hair sticking out, hilariously so. We can get that bobblehead made. We have the resources. We have the technology. I'm totally with them on that point.
I think I have a PJ Haristen signed hat. That's the most obscure piece of sports memorabilia.
Oh.
I got it, sometimes at the end of seasons. I don't know if they do this anymore, but they would do like at the very end of the season, they would do like clearance sales, and they would just have they would put folding tables out along the concourse, and there would just be all this signed gear, and you could get it for like a couple bucks. And I picked up a PJ Haristen hat after they had already traded him.
Yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, I'm snatching this.
Well, I'm gonna buy the thing about the player where that was the move. That was the move that changed everything. Trading PJ Haristen got the Hornets to a tightly contested playoff series. Okay, Happy Gilmore 2 review. It's your time, baby.
This is from Frank Kaminsky, former Charlotte Hornet, former Michael Jordan draftee, who watched Happy Gilmore 2. Also, I should say, Frank Kaminsky, wasn't he in an Adam Sandler movie? Didn't he have like an extra role in the basketball movie that he did?
It's probably an Adam Sandler movie that I have not watched.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's correct or not. Anyway, Frank saying here, Happy Gilmore is maybe the worst movie I've ever seen. He would respond to a few people on Twitter. Someone asked, sounds like your expectations are a bit out of touch. Frank saying, I wasn't expecting anything to blow me away. I also wasn't expecting it to suck as bad as it did. I actually was angry at how bad it was. But if you like those kind of movies, power to you. He said, I will not be watching any more. Oh, someone mentioned the Air Bud sequel coming out. He said, I will not be watching it. I'm done with 20 to 30 year later sequels. Okay. What's your relationship? First of all, before I get into my thoughts, what's your relationship with Happy Gilmore? Like, what is
Loved
it? Where does it fit in your life?
Love it. Absolutely love it. It was a movie. I was on a big Adam Sandler kick, just like everybody was, but I'm still late to the party, right? So where you're, I think, 4 years older, something like that than me, 5 years maybe. So where I'm a little bit later, Adam Sandler entered my life at a different point than it did yours. There was a stretch during the summer where I watched it every day. Like nice. Big Daddy is my favorite Adam Sandler movie of all time, and Adam Sandler and Big Daddy I think is my favorite comedy ever, just because of the sweet nostalgia of me having watched it when I was a kid. Absolutely love it. So where does it fit in my film viewing experience? Yeah, baby, absolutely love Happy Gilmore. I have not seen Happy Gilmore 2 yet.
Yeah, so I was 9 years old when Happy Gilmore came out, and so like I'm probably like right in the like prime zone audience of that type of comedy. So it was a big part. Yeah, I mean I watched it a ton, and so I was excited but nervous when the new movie came out because a lot of sequels, a lot of reboots. But I thought Adam Sandler would take a little bit more care with this particular piece of IP. You know, because I wasn't into the late Adam Sandler stuff with the family comedies that he did. I didn't find them very funny. Maybe I was just at a different part of my life.
Well, maybe this is a good time to drop my Adam Sandler take. My Adam Sandler take is that the consistency for good Adam Sandler movies went off the rails after Click was done. Click, solid. Anything post-Click, it's shot in the dark. It's a dart throw as to if we're going to get good movies. Before Click, Little Nicky is bad, but also like good movies all across the board. I think Click is the separator.
Here's my, and this is the time of the podcast. If you don't want to be spoiled by Happy Gilmore 2, then you need to leave. Otherwise, don't put any angry things in the comments. The reason I'm mad at Happy Gilmore 2 is because I feel like at the beginning of the movie, they did something so radical, so different that I thought, oh my God, they're going to try to make a good movie here. And that's that they killed Happy Gilmore's love, what would be his wife, Vanessa. They killed her in the very first scene. He drives a ball and he kills her. He drives a ball and the ball hits her in the head he kills her, and that sends him down and into a downward spiral and puts him at the lowest he could possibly be. And I'm like, yes, this is what so many reboots, this is what so many future sequels get wrong, is that they keep the people that they took to the top, they keep them at the top, and they tell this like sob story about how hard it is to be at the top. And everybody at home who's still probably in a similar space that they were when they watched the original film, which is like somewhere like in the middle, they're thinking, I don't care if you're at the top. Like, I liked the coming, from the bottom to the top story. That's what I want. And I'm like, yes, this movie's going to do that. It puts him, it kills a sacred cow, literally, and then moves him into this space. And then proceeds for the rest of the movie to just lean so heavily on callbacks. And they do something that more movies are doing now, which is they play actual clips of the old movie. I've seen the old movie. I know what happens. I don't need to see the clips anymore. Just tell a story. Tell an original story that is interesting. Don't play me clips. The moment you play a clip from the old movie, I think they got to fill some time because they're out of ideas. Absolutely absurd. I can't believe. Here's what makes me maddest about Happy Gilmore 2. You have made me agree with Frank Kaminsky on something. I can't believe it.
I'm sorry. You okay? You all right? You had to agree with Frank. I'm sorry about that, man.
It's just tried. If they had not tried, if at the beginning of the movie they had done the thing that I said I did not want them to do, I would actually feel better about the movie because I would think, well, they kind of just did what everybody else did. All right, I'm here to just sit here and I'll tell you, I feel this way about the Mission Impossible because I'm a huge Mission Impossible fan. So if you don't want spoilers on that, you would now want to turn it off. But on the final movie, but they've done like 17 of these movies, right? The final movie played a lot of clips from the old movies, but going into it, I knew what I was going to get because even the very beginning of the movie, I'm like, yep, we're in for just another one of these Mission Impossible sequels. They're not trying to do anything more with it. I'm just lean back, eat my popcorn. I'm here for the ride. The fact that they tried to do something radical and then rug pulled me and said, nope, we're just going to do the same old schlocky BS reboot. That's what pissed me off.
Yeah, and Adam Sandler's all across the board, especially, like, again, that post-click era, in my opinion, because there are some terrible movies. If you were to ask me, Walker, what's the worst movie you've ever seen in your life? I would say Jack and Jill. It's the worst one I've ever seen, and I can't stand it, and I think a lot of people agree with me. That is not a hot take. But the thing about Adam Sandler is the serious roles, he actually does damn well in those roles. But Punch Drunk Love, I like his performance way more than the actual movie, and I get that they were trying to go with this like
Anderson.
noir.
That's right. That's good writing, good directing. Right. See, this is less about Adam Sandler and more about the team that's around him. Farrelly, Dugan, the people that make this stuff. They just they try. I don't know who had the idea to kill Vanessa. Whoever had that idea had one idea, and then they were like, "All right, what's next?" And everybody went, "Oh, I don't know."
I think what I was scared of, and we can finish on this, what I was scared of was they were doing the thing where they would just go after a whole bunch of celebrities, get your favorite YouTube streamer, get these favorite young athlete. I know. And it's like, I don't look, this is supposed to be separate from reality, right? Like to have a couple of cameos here and there, that's what makes it great. But this is supposed to be separate. I don't want this world where Happy Gilmore is inviting your favorite YouTube streamer and the Kelsey brothers are in it, along with all of the now golfers. Why are we doing this? Like, give me Lee Trevino having a bit just dropped in every now and then.
Too many golfers, too many new golfers.
That's what I was worried about. I've heard that a million times. I want Bob Barker for one classic scene. Okay,
he's dead, so it was tough.
I know. I want these guys. Never mind. I'm not going. Just stay away from the dead jokes. I think that's what I want, and that's why I'm scared to just dive all the way in. And I think the way you put it at the very beginning of your take is something I thought as well. This is Happy Gilmore, probably going to take care of this one. This is one where we're going to treat with care, a little TLC, and
especially after like 25. Well, how many? 96. What's that? So that's nearly 30 years. Like after 30 years, you're going to do something. Why? Like you've waited this long. You feel like you would have had a couple of ideas, and I really feel like they were like, all right, we're gonna radically change it. We're gonna put them all the way back down at the bottom, and then yeah, it was God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Give me Kevin Nealon as the golfer. Give me Shooter McGavin. Like I don't want Bryson DeChambeau. I want, anyways. All right.
No, here's the worst. I'll tell you the worst thing was that there's the sort of niche sports joke that my wife didn't get at all, which is that, who is that? Zalatoris. When Zalatoris first jumped on the scene, everyone went, that guy looks like Happy's caddy, right? Because he had the blonde curls in the back, and everybody's like, that's Happy's caddy. Yeah. So Zalatoris shows up in the movie, but he doesn't play Zalatoris. He plays Happy's caddy, but he doesn't have the hair anymore. You would only get that joke if you had been a part of that conversation and followed golf enough to know what Zalatoris looks like now. I got it from context clues because I don't follow golf like that. My wife, and I'm sure millions of other people who watched the movie were like, what the hell? What are they talking about? That's not Happy's caddy. Unbelievable. Just a total fumble. God.
We spent a lot of time on that. I don't know whether to, be happy about it or apologize for it.
Unhappy Gilmore, more like it.
Unhappy Gilmore, too. Doug Branson, everyhornetsboxscore.com, hosts Locked On NBA with Matt Moore and Hayes. Go check that out. That's a lot better than Happy Gilmore, too. I promise. I'm Walker Mail. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Have a great rest of your week. We'll be back with you next week. In fact, I shouldn't say we, just going to be me. I'm going to try to bring the friends on, David Walker. I'll reach out to Nada. I haven't reached out to him yet, so this is my invitation to them. But the usual suspects. I'll look to have them on next week and give you a few shows while Doug goes on vacay. Have a great rest of your week.